So everybody see my screen, right? Do you see my screen?
Yes. Sir.
Okay. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
So let us make today's lecture interactive. Okay. So unless there is noise in your side, so you can keep yourself unmuted. And please speak frequently. Okay. So let us make this class interactive.
Golly gee, I can't wait to interact.
Okay, thank you. Do not interact. Do not interrupt, please. Okay. So let us start our lecture. So good afternoon, everybody. Actually, good evening. Good evening, everybody. So let us start our lecture tonight, and then as usual, we see our schedule. Okay, so according to our schedule, so we have this week, like we'll discuss interface today. That's good. Okay, two things I will discuss: polymorphism and interface. Okay, but before I start this discussion, let us talk about our test. So how was the test one?
Wasn't too bad.
Okay, was it?
I hope I did good. I think I did.
It was pretty good.
The only thing that almost tripped me up was the pre-increment and post-increment questions.
What is that one?
The pre-increments and post-increment questions. The one in which there was the ref keyword.
Oh, reference parameter, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
the reference parameter wasn't the problem. It was the pre and post increment.
Didn't I discuss the like prefix and postfix notation? I discussed this right in a class, and then I told you to practice some program and clearly understand this. Yeah, I saw that. I was trying to grade these. I saw that a lot of students they did this. First of all, there are some students, a few students that mistake that. So it's in the main method. Let us see, in the main method, it has three output: X, Y, and P. And there is in the output, this plus sign is for string concatenation, right? String and variable concatenation. There is no real plus sign in the output. The output should be like this. But some students, they still give output, a plus sign in the output. Okay, the first one, see this one. So this on the output line 2. So which line will be executed first? So this is, we see the apply it method is calling in line number 16. So it will call the apply it method, and then line number 9 will be executed. So line number 9 will be executed first, and this is the output 35 and 15. The line number 9, and then it will be executed line number 17, then 17 will be given. So I will give partial credit. I will give partial credit for the 3 that has 3. It has 3 input, 3 output, 3 values. If at least 2 is correct, then I will give 60% point. And for this one, if at least 1 is correct, then I will give 40% point. So I'll give partial credit. Okay. But how about the announcement? Some students say send me an email, not a very large number of students. Only a few students told me that he or she did not know that there was a test. Okay, so if you see my announcement, I gave announcement maybe for the last 2 weeks. I have been giving announcement, right? So you see that I was giving announcement for the couple of lectures that every day I was telling that there will be test, and be prepared for the test. And I don't know how that happened, that the students said he did not realize that there was a test. So anyone has any opinion that how can we make it better in future so that everybody knows that there is a test, there is a daily test. So our schedule is up right from the beginning. So from the very beginning, our schedule says that test 1 in this week, right? So I was wondering why some. So I got email from one or two, and I was wondering how that happened, that we did not know that there is a test. Okay, so our next test will be October 19, 20 this time. Okay. Okay, this date is not fixed yet, but we will decide this week. Okay, so let us go to our resource page. Okay, do you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, please, everybody, please speak out. Okay.
Yes, we can hear you. Ah.
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully we will wrap up early, a few minutes early tonight. Okay. So not
Tonight, sir.
a very tough thing, so that we will discuss two things actually: polymorphism. This I skip this one, this slide, and interface. Okay. These two things. So, but before we discuss polymorphism, I want to go to this interface first. Maybe it's better. So we'll discuss polymorphism later. Let me see. Let us discuss interface first. Okay, then we will discuss polymorphism. So when we were discussing our inheritance, okay, do you remember that? What are the limitations that we figured out of inheritance? What are the limitation of inheritance that we found? You can remember the limitations?
I think you said you can't have two parent classes.
Yes, that was one of the major limitation there. A child class cannot inherit properties from multiple classes. That means Java and C# do not allow multiple inheritance, right? But some other languages like C++ allows multiple inheritance. Okay, so multiple inheritance is the fact that whenever there is a child class and that has two parent classes. Okay, for instance, this one, werewolf, is a child class, and man and wolf class are the parent class. So here what will happen? The reason is that you see the minus sign, that means this is a private member, and then minus sign is private member, plus sign is private member. Sorry, public member. So this class is public member. So round method in both cases are public member. So if an inheritance happens like this, then what will happen? The round method will be inherited to the child class twice, two times, right? One from man class and another from wolf class. So then there will be a possible ambiguity that the compiler will confuse from where this round method is coming from. Okay, whether this property is coming from the left parent, man parent, or the wolf parent. Okay, in some languages like C++ does has a scope operator that says W, like this one, colon colon, sorry, colon colon. This colon colon is called scope operator. Some languages like C++ does have this colon, is called scope operator. So the scope operator, it says that, so it says all, for instance, all colon colon run. That means the run method will come from the old class. Okay, and if I say man over here, so in C++ format, then we will know, the compiler will know that this run method is coming from the man class. But okay, the modern programming languages like Java and C#, okay, do not have this colon colon operator. This is scope operator. Okay, so it would be a problem for Java and C# that compiler will make an error that it will not understand from where the run class is being coming or inherited. So this is a limitation of inheritance. So this is called multiple inheritance picture. So instead, in order to resolve this problem, right? Okay. So in order to resolve this problem, what? So the better example, in order to solve that issue from this class structure, we could do that, like run class could be put in another method, for instance, mammal method, and then run class could come here, man, and then run all, and then still then ambiguity will come here, right? From that run class will come either from this side or that side. So in order to resolve this problem, actually C++ and C++ does, but Java and C# do not allow multiple inheritance. So instead of multiple inheritance, so in C# and Java, we use interface. Interface is very similar to abstract class, but it has some differences. So we'll discuss these differences. Okay. So basically, an interface is a contract. Okay, an interface is a contract between a class, a subclass, and a parent class. So through interface, what we can do, a class can have more than one or more subclasses, parent classes. Okay. So if like these are classes, the man and wolf, these are classes, then it is not possible. Okay, it's not possible. But interface, if this man and wolf are interfaces, then it is possible. Okay, that means through interface we can implement multiple inheritance. Okay. So as I said, an inheritance is very similar to an abstract class concept, but it is different. Okay, we will notice. Okay, in our previous lecture, we discussed that an abstract class can have a constructor, although an abstract class cannot be instantiated, right? An abstract class never been instantiated to create an object, but an interface cannot contain a constructor. Okay, so we will discuss this. So more rule are coming. Let me see. Through inheritance, we use extend keyword, right? When we inherit a class in Java, we use extend keyword, and in C++, sorry, in C# we use colon sign. Okay, and through inheritance, we will use in Java, we use implement keyword. Okay. and should be implements. Okay, implements keyword, and in C# still we use colon sign. Okay, what is the last rule? A class that implement an inheritance has choice override a method or declare a. Okay, so we'll discuss this. So class that implements an interface has two choices: either to override the method that are not implemented, or to declare the class as an abstract. We will discuss this. Okay. So this is an example. Let me see how many slides I do have, and then we will discuss. Okay. Okay. So there are no too many slides in this example, but we will discuss this program. So let us go to this program code snippet. Okay. So what do you understand here? So here an interface. Trackable is an interface. How to declare an interface? An interface is declared with an interface keyword. Okay. And so this method, okay, the first thing, so we will understand the difference between an interface and an abstract class also. So everything is an interface. Okay, everything in interface is abstract. So this talk method is abstract by default. So we do not need to write void abstract talk. So the talk method is abstract here by default. So since this method is abstract, we cannot have a body, right? We cannot have a body of this talk method. So there must be abstract. So only the header line, this line. Okay, now if we implement this interface, stockable interface, then what do we need to do? We must override this method. It depends on the situation. How do we override this? It can have a one line, single line of statement, or it can have 1,000 lines of statement. This depends on the situation. Or it can must have at least a blank implementation. That is also good. Okay, so but it must have an implementation. That is the rule, because we know that whenever a class inherit an abstract method, that abstract method must be implemented or declared or designed, have a body in the child class, right? So we need this statement. And then another thing is that we cannot, then this talk method is callable. You can call this talk method, but like an abstract class, an interface cannot be instantiated, because on the right side you cannot have a talkable, because an interface cannot be instantiated. Okay. This is same thing for an abstract class. And another thing is that an interface is 100% abstract. So whatever you put in an abstract, in an interface, it must be abstract. But earlier we knew that in previous lecture we discussed that an abstract class can have one or more or no abstract methods, right? So if a class contains at least one abstract method, then the class must be declared as an abstract class. But whenever a class is abstract class, then it can contain all methods as abstract, or no of the methods are abstract, or at least one method or more, or okay. But the difference is that, yes.
Could you have a private method or private variables in an interface?
Okay. So that is good. Actually, with variable. So if you can a variable in interface, That is a good question. I want to discuss this in a live program. Okay, so in an abstract class, okay, so if you have something variable, we have a fixed value. That you say we are saying private. That is not private actually. That is called a predefined value. Okay, we can have this. Okay, so we will discuss this in our live program. So I'm coming in a live program soon. Okay, so let us. So far you understand the difference. We use increment keywords here. Okay, and if it was an in abstract class, then we would use extend keyword, right? This program code is in Java. So far understand this, right? Everybody understand this so far?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So this program is C++, so Java, and this code is C#. So the main difference is like colon sign over here, right? This is the only one difference over here. And then let us see this one. Okay. So better I would discuss this in a live program. Okay, so let me see. Okay, the difference is that here, whenever a like we can have multiple interfaces that we can inherit in a class, or we can inherit in a class. Okay, so if it is a class, it has a class, it was not possible. Okay, so it is in here interface, and then it is possible to do this. Okay, so in that case, the talkable, so if we implement this, and then in the talkable interface there is talk method, and consumer interface there is eat method. So in our doc class we must implement both of these, both talk and eat methods. We need to implement. Okay, so this is the main concept. So if you understand this, then we can go from here. So let us to do Java version. Okay. It's noise. It is not interactive joining, so it is interruption. Okay, so let us go with some live program. So these are the basic concept. Okay, actually an interface is a contract. So we can say another way, in some books you will see that it is called a contract. So if you go to my replit, let me see, I have an interface. Okay, I will start class and interface with abstract class and interface. Okay, there are 3 programs at least. I have two. Okay, so let us go to this program. So I will go to that program later, but it's quick. We can go this program. Okay, so here I have my vehicle class. So vehicle class, for instance, this is an abstract class. Okay, so this program, it has both abstract class and interface. Okay, we will discuss abstract class again, so it will be good. Okay, so an interface. So this vehicle class is an abstract class. So by default, we know that all classes inherit the abstract object class, right? So this line is obvious. Even if you do it, you use it or do not use it. Okay, so here this method, for instance, this is private, so sorry, public variable, vehicle type, vehicle detail, and then body type, and then engine type. Okay, so this is an abstract method. Okay, so you cannot make it, you cannot have its body, right? Even you cannot say like this kind of like empty body, you cannot say, even it is wrong. So in a test, you will get a question like this, okay? But in my previous semester, I'm telling you from my previous experience, I told every semester a number of times that an abstract class an abstract method cannot have a body, even it's an empty body like this. But still, in every semester, I get test answer when I grade. When I grade, I see that some students they declare some methods and abstract, but they put body. Some of them they put body like this, and I found at least 2 students they argued with me. Okay, they said no, I did not put anything in the body. I'm telling that try to run this program, because even an empty body will not be accepted. Okay, so this is not accepted. So whenever you do not have a body, you need to have a semicolon. Okay. So anyone has any question about this so far? This I'm telling that everybody understand that an abstract method cannot have a body, an implementation. So where the implementation will go, the class, the subclass which that will inherit this vehicle class will implement it. Okay. So that actually is a concept. Vehicle is a concept. So in order to be a vehicle, we say it needs to be an engine. It needs to have an engine, right? So that engine can be different. Like a train have a different engine than a Toyota car have a different engine than a like Maruti car will have a different engine than a Honda car will be different engine, right? So that engine type is different, will be different, like vehicle to vehicles. Okay. Okay, and this set detail method, it is not an abstract method, so it needs an implemented body. Okay, and the get detail method, it needs a body. And see here, this is the train, is the child class here. So train must have this implemented body. Okay, so how that body will be here, so that depends on the implementation. Okay, so for now, so this train engine, this implementation could be a single line implementation. It could be 100-line implementation. Okay, but it must be an implementation. So in academia, when we teach this, we write this only like this train. Okay, so just I will write this train. So whenever in our output, if you see this method, then this output, then you will believe that this method is coming from, this output is coming from trains class engine type. But in an actual software engineering project, so whenever you go to a company work, so then this method can have like 100 or 1,000 lines of code. So when you get interview, they will not ask you to write 100 lines of code. So they will understand your ability, they will check your ability, whether you understand abstract class, abstract method, interface or not, just by looking this kind of single statement. So the concept is that if you understand this, then in your programming area, whatever needed, you will be able to implement this. Okay, as needed. So here are our ICTER vehicles. So by general, it's norm that all interfaces start with I, with an I. All interface name start with an I. So this is a by, so that people easily can see this is an interface. So here it is an interface. So someone, maybe you are talking about this one. So a minute ago, someone asked me a question, right? Can have an interface. You asked me a question, can have an interface a private variable, right? Who asked me a question a few minutes ago? Okay.
Oh, I did. Yeah, if you could have a private variable
so
in an interface.
It can have public, but private, if it is private, like, then it cannot be inherited. So you know the reason. Remember that the property of private. attributes. So private attributes never be inherited. So an interface or an abstract class cannot be instantiated, right? This interface class, it cannot be used to create an object. So without its property being inherited, it cannot be useful, right? So there is no way that you have a private something private over here, and that can be used by its implementer, like for instance, like car. Okay, so here I'm coming back. So here my class car, you see that colon, that is inheritance sign, right? So how many things it is inheriting? It is inheriting vehicle, I clonable, I vehicle, okay, I vehicle, water vehicle, and I motor vehicle. So whenever a class can inherit only from one class, but it can have multiple interfaces. Okay, so you see that more than one interfaces it can have. Okay, so there is no point that you can have private over here. So if you put private, let us see, when we compile this code, we will see that it shows an error or not, or we can use it. Okay, so you got this my example. Okay, so I like everybody to practice with this example. Okay, so play with this code. Okay, you see that there are some commented out code over here. So when you play with this program, so uncommented this code and try to run this and try to see your output and try to understand this. Okay, so whatever we have over here, so we have multiple interfaces, IR vehicle interface, like, okay, an interface can extend or can what is that called, can inherit from multiple interfaces. Okay, one or more interfaces. Okay, so also that means it's called, so water vehicle is an interface, and that again inherits I motor vehicle interface. It is possible. Okay, so in C# all we use colon sign. Okay, but in Java, whenever an interface extends another interface, what is that called, an interface inherits from another interface, then we call extends. Okay, but whenever we want to this sign is different in Java and C#. Okay, in C# all we use colon sign, but in Java, I will go back soon, this sign we use extends. And if we have multiple classes, multiple, whenever we inherit from an interface, we write implements keyword. So this is the program. Okay, so it's car vehicle, and then it has some so cars own properties, and it needs to be implemented inherited properties. So it is going to be a pretty large class. And then finally over here, so these are from other classes. Okay, and finally actually this is a large program, and finally here the main class is over here. Okay, so the main classes, it has, okay, display method, and it has like this program. Okay, it has, so this code, I think that is about 270 line pages codes. So if you run this program, let me see. In one of the previous semesters, I discuss all of this program. Okay, but I like that my complete code is here. Okay, so it's runnable. Code is runnable. I like everybody to get this code and practice it before you come to in our next lecture, and you will get a question in your next test, and also in your final. Okay, So if you do not understand this, program, then starting this course is useless. Anyone has any question? So this is in C#, and I have another program, complete program written in. This is also in C#. Okay, this is also in C#. I should have Java program. So let us see what does it do. So it has person abstract class, and it has iMammal interface and human class. It inherits from iMammal, and teacher class inherit from person class. Okay, and let me run this program, and it works. And I like you, everybody, to get this program also and practice this. Okay. Okay, and the last one, have another program. I see that it is example of multiple interfaces. Okay, so for instance, this program is written in Java. We say implements keyword. Okay. So this is shape is an interface, color is an interface. Okay, so this shape and color, they have their abstract methods. So this is actually pointless to use abstract keyword. Okay, some languages like does not allow to have abstract keyword in an interface because it is by default abstract. Okay, so the color is also an interface. So usually people who are in the company tradition is that people use like I, whenever they name an interface, they use I to name interface. Okay, so that people easily, you can see that, you can understand this is an interface. Okay, so this triangle class, it inherits from multiple interfaces like shape and color. Okay, it is possible to implement multiple interfaces. Okay, and then the classes, it has its own constructor, and then another method, and then another method, and then main class. And this is simple. This program is simple. So anyone over there has any question? Hello? Can you hear me?
No questions
Oh,
here.
no,
No,
Yes.
I don't have it.
No, I think we're good.
Thank you. So, from my experience, personal experience, I'm telling you that when I teach, okay, 80% or 90% of my students, they understand. Okay, but I think everybody here, if you are giving attention, you will understand. But if you do not practice, then you will forget. Either you may forget by the time of your test, or when you so in your test you have to write freehand, right? You will not be able to use any interpreter, any IDE. So then if you do not practice, then you will forget. But my concept, my request is that please practice this program, at least these 3 programs. Okay, so if you practice these 3 programs, for instance, this one program, this is the last program. Okay, if you practice this program and if you understand this program, then you will be good. And not only for this good, then you will understand the 80%, you will understand 80% concept, principles of object-oriented programming concept. Only one program, if you understand this program. If you understand only this program, if you can do this program, then you will understand 80% concept of object-oriented programming principles. I'm sure that if you understand this program, only one program. So people who are taking C Java lab, I would tell you to convert this program. I should have this program also in Java. Okay, but I wish I would not have it so that you can practice it. Okay, in Java. I wish I do not have it. Okay, but my bad. I also have this program in Java. Every program actually I have in multiple languages. So Java people, so start with this Java program, okay, and then convert it in C#. Okay, and C# people start with this program with C#. When you clearly understand this, then convert it in Java. Okay, although I have both code implemented in my example, but do not copy and paste fast. At least try to understand that one in your own language. Okay, so the difference between this one and this one is that this is Java, right? So the difference between this one is that, for instance, so here you see that I have some static method. So someone asked me in the previous lecture that can we have a static method in an abstract class or not? Please try to do it in your own program. Okay, try to do it in your own program. Okay, so you see that this class, vehicle class, abstract class, it still extend the object class, and the train class, this extend the vehicle class. Okay, and then okay, that air vehicle, this is an interface. Okay, I'm asking everybody attention on the line number 123. Okay, so here line number 123, what it is doing here? Can anyone please explain me? What are you doing here in line number 23, 123?
You're creating an interface water vehicle that is a child interface of motor vehicle.
Yes. So that's good. An interface can be again extended. It can be again extended. Okay. So then when we use extend keyword, generally we know that an extend keyword in interface we use implements keyword, right? Whenever we inherit an interface, then we use implements keyword. But whenever an interface inherit another interface, then it still use extend keyword in Java. So this is an interview question, okay, in Java. So if you do it good, then in interview, then at some point you might be asked that can an interface be extended in another interface, or it is implemented in another interface. Okay, so an interface is extended by another interface, okay, but it is implemented in another class. It's the tricky answer. And when you extend an interface, that means you are extending this interface by or to another interface. But whenever you use implement keyword, then that means you are extending or inheriting this interface by a class. So what is my class name over here in line number 137 is car class. This car class is inheriting clonable and air vehicle and water vehicle interface. Okay, it can have so okay, and this. So try to understand, everyone understand this difference between why you are using implement here and why you are using extend keyword here, and what is the difference between this extend and this extend. Especially I like everybody to be clear about the use and usage of this extent in line number 123 and the extent in line number 137. So in 137, this extent means this is a class. Okay. But in here, so this since I have class over here. So since I have interface over here, so this extends means this is also an interface. So here, in order to make it readable, so I put I at the front, okay, at the beginning. So if I did not have I over here, then it would be ambiguous, right? It would be difficult to remember that, okay? But if you expert in programming, if you practice programming, then you should be able to understand it. So anyone has any question at this point? I like everybody to be clear.
No, sir.
Thank you so much. And please practice. Okay, please practice this program. So at this point it will be clear, but if you do not practice, then you will forget. You will do mistake. Okay, so now if I go to my slides, okay, now if I go to my slides, so can I give it to homework or I need to do it for you? Can you do it? So can you do it? Can you do this program? So this part I'm giving as a homework, okay? So please, code is over here, okay? Just write this complete program. Write this complete program in Replit or wherever it is. But if you get stuck, then send me your Replit URL address. Okay, if you understand my previous, those are the larger problem and more larger problems. Okay, so if you understand this, then this is easy. This is an easy problem. Okay, and the same thing we have in written this one in Java and we have in C#, that things. Okay, same thing. Okay, please practice this. Okay, then this program is easier than the by program. Try it yourself, and if you cannot do it, please send me an email. I will do it for you. Okay, but I think you need practice and you should do it. So anyone has any question about interface? So what is an interface? An interface actually is a contract. Okay, what kind of contract? So we as a contract, that means an agreement. Like for instance, in order to be a car, okay, it needs to have an engine, right? We know that all cars are vehicles, and then vehicles, in order to be a vehicle, maybe there were some vehicles in earlier days without an engine, right? Like long time ago, thousands of years ago, people use vehicle. They call that vehicle, but they without an engine. Okay, like pushing vehicle. So, but in order to say car, we know if it's a car or train or truck, we know that there is an engine, right? So, where the engine is implemented? So, engine is implemented in the like interface. So, interface will make you guaranteed that it will tell you that will give you condition that in order to be a motor vehicle, you must have a motor in type motor. Okay, motor or engine. So what kind of motor it will be, that depends on the actual class or concrete class that will inherit this. Okay. And one thing that in either of this program, there is no inherit keyword, right? Inheritance is not a keyword, right? Inherit or inheritance is not a keyword, right? But since we in our test, I get some student that they write inherits over here. Instead of extends, or implements, they use inherit keyword. So is inherit a keyword?
No, it's not.
That's good. So and as long as you pronounce I believe you will remember it forever. Okay, you will not forget that inheritance is not a keyword. In Java we use extends and implements, but in C# we use just colon sign. Okay, now it is time. We want to go back to this polymorphism slide. This slide will be now simple. Okay, okay, sorry, I already downloaded it. Okay, polymorphism means, poly means many and morphism means form. Okay, so polymorphism means whenever an object or something or a method has multiple forms, or it plays, whenever something plays multiple roles in multiple places. That is the concept of polymorphism. Polymorphism is, there are two kinds of polymorphism. Okay, one is called dynamic polymorphism, is another is called static polymorphism. Okay, so we know that the dynamic polymorphism is called runtime polymorphism, and the static polymorphism is called compile time polymorphism. Okay, so polymorphism is mainly used in object-oriented programming in two forms. One is called method overloading, another is called method overriding. Okay, so the two words that are very similar and close, that are called overloading and overriding. Okay, so let me see if I have example here. Okay, so overloading, overriding means rewriting. Okay, so we know that the toString method. toString method is originally, it is defined in the object class, but whenever we want to print an object in a string format, then we need to rewrite this toString method, right, in our own classes. So like this, in mammal class we need to rewrite on one way, then dog class we may rewrite in another way, and then cow class we may rewrite in different way. Okay, so or same thing, for instance, the eat method. If it eat is in mammal class, and then if dog inherits this mammal class and cow inherits this mammal class, so then this method, eat method should be different, should have different implementation in all of these classes. So whenever a class, a parent class contains a method, and if that method is inherited, that means if that method is public, right, then this is inheritable, then by a child class, then the child class should rewrite that method, and that rewriting is called method overriding or rewriting. So the term is method overriding. Okay, we use method overriding. So we have seen that this method overriding in these examples, we have overriding in all places. So we have overriding in all places. Whenever we rewrite this method, this is a method overriding. Okay, and method overloading. So in our previous program we discussed that a class can contain even multiple constructors. So this is car class, this is a constructor, it takes argument, and this is a constructor, it takes 2 arguments, it takes 3 arguments, and it takes 1 argument, and there maybe have a car constructor without any argument. So this is without any argument, this is default constructor. Okay, so these this is the method, are defined with different argument. Okay, or hopefully with different body. Okay, so these are called method overloading. Okay, the two terms method overloading. Okay, so this is overloaded constructor. This is always overloaded constructor. This is overloaded constructor. So overloading comes within a single class. Okay, whenever a class can contain multiple methods that have multiple implementation. Okay, see that implementation are different. Then these are called method overloading. Method overloading happens within a class. Everybody understand this method overloading concept?
I mean,
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, we covered it before.
Okay, and method overriding. Method overriding happens between parent class and child classes. Method overriding happens between parent class and child classes. That means rewriting. For instance, the toString method. Whenever we rewrite the toString method, that toString method was originally within, for instance, in our object class, for instance, and we can implement re-implement in our child classes. That is called method. So this one, toString method. Originally it was written in object class. So this is called method overriding. Okay, so we use override keyword. Okay, so this is the main concept of method overloading and method overriding. Anyone has any question about method overloading and method overriding?
No, sir. No questions.
Okay, so first of all, so this is a possible test question. Okay, I like you to write down 5 differences. Okay, between method overloading and method overriding. Take a piece of paper and write down 5 differences. Okay, if you, I think you will get 3, 4 easily, but if you do not get 4, 5, then you can do a Google search. And also you will write the difference, 5 differences between an abstract class and an interface. Okay, this is a possible test question. You will, so we may ask you to write 5 differences of an abstract class and interface, or method overriding or method overloading. Okay, if you write these 5 differences, you can write this 5 differences. Hopefully you will understand this. So this is the concept. Okay, now this is the polymorphism concept, and there is another thing. Actually, this is not actually polymorphism. It is called object relationship. Okay, object relationship. In our last lecture, maybe I discussed something. For instance, sometime you will see that like this kind of question. Okay, so let me go through good slides and then okay. Okay, there are 2 programs over here. I like you to practice. Okay, that this one, I like you to. What is the program? The program is not given. Sorry. So I like you to. Maybe did I do it? Maybe I did something. I like to write. This is the structure. I like you to implement this in program code, actual program code. Maybe you will get. I did it in my live example. Okay, you can come practice it. Okay, but the last thing that I want to discuss, this thing. Okay, this slide. Okay. Okay, I want to discuss with my program, then it will be easy. CC. Okay, let us go an old test, old exam. 1322 old exam, maybe 2 or 3. I don't know. Let me see. Okay, this. Okay, so this program. So if you understand this program, Only this question. So if I would ask you if I'm allowed to take only one test, okay, and for 15-minute test, I would give you only this question. And if you can answer this question, then you will understand 60% concept of object-oriented programming, I believe. Okay, so let us understand this. So what this program says that using the previous person class, teacher class, I mammal, human, and object classes. Okay, actually this program is came from my person, this one. Not this one, this one, not this one. Okay, this program, okay. So these are the test question, Spring 2020 test 2A, okay, in C#. Maybe I should have also Java implementation for this. Okay, I got Java and both C#, okay. So here person is an abstract class. Let me do quick review. Person is an abstract class. It has an activity, this one abstract method, so there is no implementation over here. Okay, and it has IMammal interface, and IMammal, this interface is inherited by human. Okay, human class implements IMammal, and the teacher class, it extends the person class. Okay, and blah 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 this. Okay, so this. So you would understand this program? Yeah, please raise your voice. Then I will speak for the next 10 minutes. Okay. Otherwise, if you do not give attention, then I will stop it here.
No questions here, sir.
Okay. So for the next 5 minutes, okay, give attention. If you understand this next 5 to 10 minutes, then you will understand 60% of object-oriented programming concept. So if you understand this one test, for instance, here person class is an abstract class. Okay. And IMammal is an interface. Okay, so then the human class, it implements or inherits the IMammal. Okay, and teacher class, it inherits person class. Since it is Java program, so we are using, while inheriting an interface, we are using implements keyword, right? And when inheriting a class, we are using extends keyword. Okay, in C#, everything would be a colon. Okay. So now let us see, you see that these are the test questions. So these are the test questions, like these questions are asked here in these questions. So this question, it asks whether each of these statement is a valid or true statement or not, or false statement. Okay, the easy way to understand this, like if you understand this problem. If you understand this problem, so this is related to this. Okay, so the easy way to understand, ask a question. For instance, let me do it. So whenever we say x equal to 20 in our algebra, what do we understand? Or what do we understand? For instance, if we say x equal to y. I'm sorry. So if say x equal to 20, and then say y equal to x. What do we understand from these two statements in algebra? So we understand that x, okay, we understand that x equal to initialized by 20, right? Then y value is getting equal to same x 20, right? Even for, yeah, let us add one more thing. If say y equal to 10, so if say y equal to 10 and x equal to 20, and then if we say y equal to x, then which value will be changed? X value or y value?
Y value.
Thank you. So that means how the assignment operator it works, it puts the right side value to the left side, right? So the value of right side variable or operand to the left side, right? It comes this way, right? It works this way, right? So it puts the right side value, this x, to the left, right? Similarly, when you get this type of question, okay, ask yourself, is a person or are all person ask a question, this and this, are all person are person? If your answer is true, then probably the statement is true, okay, but it may not be true for true cases. If this is an abstract class or an interface, then that is not true, otherwise it will be true. So let us check. The question says which are invalid question statement, okay, so that means here in the statement that are so say put with this is invalid, okay, so this is why it is commented out, so it will not run. This is why it will not run. It's that this it will not run. So there is nothing to memorize here or here, but just there is something you need to understand here. Okay, so the understand, how do you understand that? If I take this out, so the program will run. So the commented statements are invalid statement. But how do you know that these are invalid? The effective way to understand. So the first of all, if say we know that an abstract class cannot be instantiated, right? That means in right side, if the right side is constructor is an abstract class or interface, then this is invalid. So this person is an abstract class. Okay, so this is invalid. So this person is an abstract class, so it will not work. Okay, this I mammal is an interface, so it cannot be work, right? So we know that an interface and an abstract class cannot be instantiated, right? So these three are false in a first glance. You do understand why these three are false or will not work?
Yes.
Because if this one is an abstract class, right? An abstract class cannot be instantiated, no matter what do you say. Okay, did you understand this?
Can you explain how line 52 works?
I'm going there. Okay. Okay. So human is an interface. It will not work. So we got three. Okay. So now let us check the others. So now ask a question. Okay. So if it is not right side is not an abstract class or interface, then check for other. For instance, the B, number B. Ask a question, are all teachers person? In order to understand that, you need to look at the classes. So person is an abstract class, okay? And teacher inherits the person class. So that means there is a relation between teacher and person. If there is no relation, then there is no way this is not true, okay? But we have relation over here, right? Child parent class relation, right? But this, since we have relation, then this question is asked with relation, not with that relation. So here we ask a question yourself, are all teachers teacher? First let us go to C first. Are all teachers teacher? Yes, right?
Yes.
Then this statement is true.
Yes.
This definitely right statement, okay? But are all person teacher? Are all teacher person?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Wait.
Because okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so here if I have time, actually I would draw this. I would draw this. Okay, so Yeah, so all teachers are person, right? All teachers are person. For instance, if I draw like my person class is person class. Okay, so I don't have my, and then inherit is inherit teacher, and then maybe there will be another subclass that will say employee, that we can say employee, EMP. Okay, employee. So here all teachers are person, right? Then that means this statement is true. Okay, but if we say are all person teacher, no, right? Are all person employee, are all person student, no, right? So in that case, if the result is no, then for instance, let me quickly, I can write another class, subclass quickly. So I can say class student. Okay, extend person. Okay, so here I have two type of person. Person means that like some person are teacher and some person are student. Okay, so all teachers are person, all student are person, but not all person are student, not all person are teacher. So here if we ask question, are all teachers person, then answer will be yes, then this statement is true. So now this one, are all person teacher, no, so this statement is false. Okay, then object. Okay, so are all object teacher, no, in human an object class. Okay, so an object class is top level class. There are many objects in this world. Some objects are teacher, some objects are like animals, some objects are vehicles, some objects are students, some objects are buildings, some objects are computers. So not all objects are teachers. So this is invalid. And then someone asked me a question about this one, right? 55 and 50. This one, right? I and J. So all teachers are object, right? And all humans are object. So these are true. And all humans are I humans. So these interface and abstract class can be type. So this side, left side is type. Okay. So remember that whenever we say integer x, int in x, so that means this left side we say put type first, right? So this one is type. Okay. So in an abstract class and an interface can be type, but cannot be instantiated. So who asked me the question about the like J, I and J? Or you asked H, I, J? These three, right? So H is false because all objects are not human. Okay, and then J, I is correct because all teachers are object. J is correct because all humans are object. Okay, and this is not correct because all humans are not teacher. L is incorrect because all humans are not teacher. So you understand this?
Yes.
So if you understand then this, then you understand almost all properties of object-oriented programming. Okay. So this question. So now, if you understand this, then you should understand this question. And if you understand this question, then I would believe that you understand at least 60% concept, basic concept of object-oriented programming. But in this question, you need to understand there is nothing to memorize. Okay. And in your test, hopefully you will get this question, similar type of question. So now it is time. So I like everybody to go through this test. practice this test, okay? So if you understand this, if you can do this, solve this problem, then no matter whether I gave you a different class name or different attribute, you should be able to do that. Okay, so please practice this. Okay, these 3 programs. So in your final test, if for next test, if you understand these 3 programs, then you will get 60% point in your next test. So has anyone any question?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you so much.
No, sir.
And yes, and just before you come to your next lecture, so please. Okay, so then how was your experience for this today's virtual class?
It was good.
Is there
It's
anyone
alright.
here who presented face-to-face, but this first time come online? Is there anyone that every day you join face-to-face, but this is the first time you come online?
I mean, last week I did the online thing. I tested it out. At least it worked well.
Okay, so I like you. So then I like your feedback. Okay, actually, so how do we like my teaching? Okay, so if you go to our first year experience page in CCSE and see all the way back, all the way down, you see FYE feedback. Okay, so then select here from here to CSE1322. Okay, so give me a feedback. Okay, so write down what you like in my teaching. If you give me some positive feedback, maybe as a human being I will be encouraged. Okay, I will get energy, more energy, right? And if you have something better suggestion, please give me suggestion to make this class more better and interactive. And you can give your name over here or email address, or you can keep it anonymous. Okay, so yeah, I like you to give a feedback by this week. Okay, so if you do not have any question, then I want to wrap up. And again, I'm giving you a reminder, next lecture, before you come to next lecture, please practice the program that I discussed today. And then I have left a single thing, that is casting, that we will discuss in our next lecture. That's good. Okay. And thank you so much. And you have a good night. And if
You have a good night too,
You as well.
Thank you, Professor.
See you.
Thank you, Professor.
Don't let the dogs bite.
Have a wonderful night.
Bye.
See you guys later.
Those are done, yeah, all that good stuff.